Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Advocate Rishika Arora. I hope I am audible. If someone can just confirm that. Can someone please confirm if I'm audible to you all? Can you please write it in the comments? Thank you. We would just wait for another 2-3 minutes for others to join in, and then we would be starting the session on LLM application process and the need for doing an LLM. Good evening, Karthik Sujal. I believe we should start with the session now. Good evening, everyone. I am Advocate Rishika Arora. I'm a litigating lawyer in the Delhi High Court. I am the co-chairperson of Commonwealth Lawyers Association's Young Lawyer Group, and I'm a mentor to students with integrating blocks. Well, today what we would be discussing is about LLM application and the process, as well as why is it important for you to do LLM. Well, a lot of you, when I am mentoring the students for the LLM application, have come up to me, and this is a very basic and a beginner's question I feel that a lot of you have asked me is, what is an LLM degree and why we should be doing an LLM? Well, firstly, an LLM degree is a master's degree. You become a master of laws, and the LLM degree is for an advancement in your career. Either you want to take the career towards litigation side, be a part of a bigger firm, or you want to get into academics. So an LLM is very, very important, I would say, as it's a stepping stone for you to take your career to the next level. So candidates commonly hold first degree in law, which is here in India it is LLB. And after that, the candidates want to take their career as well as their academic career, and they want to have a specialized knowledge about a particular subject. So they take an LLM program. The LLM program then the LLM program will help you or enable you to take your career to the next notch. Now there are a lot of reasons why a person does LLM, not just that they want to take the career to the next notch, but also for the reason that you have a better network, you have a global network, your clientele as well as your friend circle, your professional circle, personal and professional circle, it becomes you become a global legal market. You enter the global legal market. Networking is one. Then of course you get the subject specialization, the specialization that you would want to have in a particular subject. That is another reason. Obviously career opportunities, you have better career opportunities, and an expertise in comparative law. Now an expertise in comparative law, I will come back to it, and I will explain each and every aspect of why you should be doing LLM in a better and in an explanatory manner. So I think I should be starting with the first and the foremost reason why people do LLM is career advancement. Of course, in many countries, an LLM degree is considered very prestigious. It is considered as the next level for anyone to jump in their career. It's better poised when it comes to joining the top-notch firms. So a lot of students or a lot of professionals go in for an LLM degree even at a later stage of their career, just to have a career advancement, a jump in their career, to take it to the next level. The next thing is obviously networking. I have already spoken about it. Networking is primarily your increasing your personal as well as professional network. Professional, to be more specific, a lot of people go in for the professional networking, but personal is another aspect which a lot of people do not realize, but it is as important as professional network. The personal and the professional network, they go hand in hand when you want to build any kind of clientele in the legal market. Next is subject specialization. Now, subject specialization can be in two different manner, like two different ways that you can have subject specialization. One is obviously you have a deeper knowledge of that particular subject. If you have an interest in corporate law, you would want to do masters in corporate law. You have an interest in IPR, you would want to do it in IPR, and it's having a better knowledge, or to deepen your knowledge in that particular subject. Whereas if you other than just deepening the knowledge, of course, if you want to change the field. Today I am working in the field of corporate law, but I have an interest in IPR. I might want to take LL.M degree in IPR, intellectual property rights, so as to take the next step, so as to change my career path. So that is another reason why people go in for an LL.M degree. Now, the next reason that I can come up with, and which is a very prominent reason for a lot of people to do LL.M, is new career opportunities. Now, how do you have new career opportunities? It is not deepening the knowledge. It is not changing the line of your subject or your specialization, but it is the new career opportunities because you have another jurisdiction to explore. With LL.M degree, you take the degree if you are interested in going abroad to do your masters. You have a new jurisdiction that you explore. You can take the LL.M degree from the US universities, the UK universities. You can give the bar exam of that of that jurisdiction. You get the New York bar, California bar, and if you are applying for UK, of course, you can get English. You can become an English barrister. So that gives you an inlet to something like a US based law firm or a UK based law firm. So a lot of students take that also as a career change or a career move to move forward in their career, expand their jurisdiction when it comes to becoming a global lawyer. So this is another reason why students or professionals prefer going in for LL.M degree. Now, expertise in comparative law. So you become, when you have an LL.M degree from an international university, you per se become a global lawyer. You have an LLB degree from India, and then you are taking an LL.M degree from an international university. You become a global lawyer. In the global legal market, you can obviously choose the career which deals with cross-border transactions, which deals with two countries. If, for example, an MNC or a company wants to establish, a US-based company wants to establish or have their offices in India, you need a global lawyer, or you need a lawyer who is an expert in comparative law, so as to have knowledge of both the jurisdictions, so that the client can be well guided. There can be a proper legal opinion because that lawyer would know about both the jurisdictions. Now, coming to academic career, obviously the next reason why a lot of students would want to take on LL.M as their the next career jump, why would they want to take an LL.M degree, is because it relates to academics also. So if anyone wants to have a specialized knowledge in a particular subject and then get into academics, do PhD, of the student or the professional. That is another career path if they want to take, or they are from the very beginning they're very sure that academics is what they want to get in. So LLM is very important for you to have and to take your academic career to the next level. Now, after talking about why you should be doing LLM and what is in it for you, now that's the next question that I am usually asked. And it is one question that I think I always say I don't have the right answer to it. For a very basic reason. LLM is very personal to anybody who's doing LLM or, getting into an LLM program. I'm seeing a lot of questions coming. I would just say, I would just mention here that I would be taking on the questions at the last and the end of the live session. So as to first, I will give the basic idea of the LLM and the reason why you should be doing and the process that it is. So then most of your questions are answered. And then I would be moving on to the questions, the specific questions that have not been answered in the session. Certainly, as I was saying that LLM is very personal to everyone, and Mr. Banerjee has just posted a question here that, asking about what is the perfect subject area for LLM. Now that exactly is what I'm talking about. LLM is something very personal to everyone. Be it the subject that you choose for specialization, be it that whether you want to do LLM or not, there is no right answer to it. The subject, obviously, when you are going in LLM, the major reason is to have a specialized knowledge, so as to take the career to the next level. A specialized knowledge in a particular subject, that is very personal to everyone. If I am interested in IPR, I would go into intellectual property rights, right? And a degree in IPR. If I am interested in corporate law, obviously, I would want to go into the global business law. So that is something very personal to everyone. And there is no right answer that, what is a perfect subject area for LLM or what is not. So everyone has their own reasons for doing LLM, their own reason, their own long-time goals as well as short-time goals. And the LLM or the time or the reason for doing LLM is all structured on that. So it is very important for you to have a well-crafted LLM application. A well-crafted LLM application has to show your reasons for doing LLM, has to show your passion for doing LLM, and why you want that particular university to take you on board as an applicant or as a LLM candidate in their university. That is very, very important for any top tier university, that is. So an application process, what does an application process hold? An application process is various steps that you would be taking on while you are going to be applying for that particular university. It is not a written exam. It is not just an interview. It is a combination of a lot of thinking, strategizing, and road mapping that actually gets you into the LLM application, LLM university of your choice. Now, firstly, preparation. It is very, very important that you prepare. Nothing will be achieved without hard work and planning. That is the foremost thing that you have to take on. Hard work and planning. You have to strategize. You have to plan. You have to start early. LLM applications cannot be put for the last minute. They start in the month of August or September, most of the universities, and the application deadline is towards December. They extend, some university extend it up to January and February, early February also. But it is very, very important that you give at least 8 to 9 months into planning your LLM application. Now, putting a well thought and crafted application, what exactly it is, that is the key for any applicant to actually get in to any of the universities. The top-notch universities I am talking about here. If you want to crack the tier 1 universities, you have to put in a lot of thought. Why? Because they get applications in thousands, and they have only a strength of about 150 to maximum 250 applicants. From about tens of thousands of applications that they get every single year from all over the world, you have to crack into those 100 applicants. So you have to be thinking about it. You want to structure your application. You want to tell them that you are the candidate that they want in their university. That is the key for you to get into any of the top-notch universities. Now, what do you need to actually put a well-crafted and well-thought application together? Research, foremost research. Research on the kind of university you want to go in, research on the reasons why you want to go into that university, research on the fact that who are the professors there, what are they teaching, what are their specializations, what exactly do you want to get out of that university that you would be putting in your application, that I am a well-deserved candidate who has an expertise in this particular subject, want to take my career to the next level, and this is what I am going to in the end derive out of this university I'm applying to, be it any university. You have to have an idea, a knowledge bank about that particular university if you are applying to that university, and you have your goals set, you have thought about it, that this is the university I want to get in and this is what will take my career to the next level. So research is very, very important. Coming to the next part, which is the law school selection. Now, there are so many law schools, be it in any of the jurisdiction. You talk about US, Canada, UK, Singapore, Australia. There are so many universities. Now, how do you shortlist the universities? This is the next important step in strategizing your application. You have to shortlist the colleges that you would want to go in, which will take a lot of time for you to think, because there are so many universities around the world who are offering such great courses and degrees that you would want to really streamline your thoughts, your reasons, your goals, and then choose the university and apply. The next aspect of choosing the university is always the financial or the monetary aspect of it. Now, while you're applying for any particular university, you have to pay the application fees. So that also counts in, because you would be making a list, a proper list, a final list of the universities based on, of course, the aspect that this is what is going to take your career to the next level, your future goals, and obviously the monetary aspect. So all that has to be put together, thought about it, and that is the reason you should be starting at least 8 to 9 months prior, so that you can research well and then shortlist your law schools. Now, strategize. How do you strategize an application? Strategizing an application starts with, of course, first preparation. Then you move on to the road mapping and then the law school selection. Just as each candidate has its own personal reason of doing LLM, this very same reason you would apply to strategizing your application. Your personal goals, your future goals, your short-term and long-term goals, why you want to do LLM, what is it going to bring to you as in an individual for your professional growth, individual growth, how would you take this LLM degree would take your career to the next level. So it is certainly one of the reasons that you need to put in your thought whether you want to do an LLM or not. That is also another reason. You can do an LLM from India, you can do an LLM from abroad. Every single thing is just very personal to you. It depends on each individual candidate, on their reasons for doing LLM, their future goals, their short-term and their long-term goals. So there is no specific answer whether I should be doing an LLM from India or from abroad. You can do an LLM from India if that really facilitates your future career prospects. You can do an LLM from abroad. So it all depends on you. You want to become a global lawyer, certainly go in for one of the international universities. You get an exposure to a new jurisdiction altogether. You get to know the laws of that jurisdiction. That is the reason you would want to do an LLM from that from that particular university in another country. You want to take your career to the next level in India. You want to have a specialized knowledge about Indian laws. Go in for an LLM in an Indian university. So it all depends on you whether you should be doing it from India or you should be doing it from abroad. Now, what does an application process hold for you? Now, the application has few parts in it that you have to comply. Every university has its own criteria. Every university has its own specific application process that caters, that is available on the obviously on the university's website. But the major parts that any university would want, or a major application the guidelines that are in the basic guidelines for the universities to take on LLM applicants is first and foremost your SOP, which is your statement of purpose. I would be coming on to what an SOP and what a good SOP would look like in the later part of the session. But an SOP is the most important document that you would be presenting to the university that will introduce you. That document in itself introduces you. It talks about your procedure, your professional growth, your work experience in the past, your future goals, the reason for you to do the LLM from that particular university. It is all in that document, and that document cannot be too lengthy. Every university would give you a specific word limit, and you have to comply with that word limit. There is no exception to it. Some universities might want 1,000-word essay from you, or which is your statement of purpose. Some universities would put it in two parts. I get this question a lot of times, whether what is a great SOP for Harvard. So Harvard asks an SOP in two parts, which is a legal essay first and then about you. So every university has a different structure to the kind of application they want from their applicants, depending on their competitiveness when it comes to selecting applicants, the structure that the particular university holds when it comes to giving that legal education to you. So every university would have its own procedure, its own process of taking on the applicants and assessing their applications. So after SOP, which is the most important document for you? It's your resume or your curriculum vitae. I have been stressing it all throughout, and I think I cannot stress this enough. Please, please, please build on your profile. It does not happen overnight. Profile building and resume building goes hand in hand. You have to take on the leadership role. You have to put it on the paper. You have to show it to those universities that I am a candidate that you do not want to miss. How do you show it to them? SOP is one, and the next important document is resume. It talks about your work experience, how much you've been working, the leadership role that you have been taking on in the past, and the reason why that leadership role and your basic professional characteristic, that is the leadership, will not go away, and it will add to this university LLM from this particular university will add to you, to your professional growth, and you will be an asset to this university, being an alumni of this university, because you would be achieving that height in the future, with your career advancements and your achievements. You would be, and that is what will take the university's name also to the next level. So resume is very important. Keep working, keep striving on your work experiences and your achievements. Put it down on your resume. Keep modifying your resume. Keep adding, subtracting based on your achievements, what you want the other person to see in your resume, what is to be highlighted in your resume. Every resume, when it is to be sent to a particular university or a firm, it has a different structure to it. No resume is same for any university or for any firm, to be particular. Of course, if you are applying for a basic internship, you would want to highlight on your previous work experience, your previous internships, your involvement in the law school, so as to get a good internship. But when it comes to universities and law firms, you have to be very methodological about it, and you have to structure your resume so as to be accepted as an applicant in that particular university based on their structure, on your work experiences and your future goals. So it has to be structured in that manner. Now, legal writing is the third most important thing in an LLM application. What is a legal writing? It depends on the university that you're applying to and what kind of a legal writing, the legal writing that they would want from you. They can ask you for a research paper, they can ask you for a memo, they can ask you to write an opinion, a legal essay. It depends on the university. Legal research is very important, because legal research is what is going to enhance your researching capabilities, of course, one. And secondly, an LLM degree is obviously a specialization in a particular subject. Now, if you have those researching abilities and you can demonstrate that I am a good researcher in that particular university, they know that you are here to mean business. You are here to really achieve and, get that LLM degree and you're passionate about your career goals, you're passionate to take your career to the next level. So LLM research projects, LLM research in that particular subject that you want specialization in, legal writing, really enhances your CV to the next level, and that is what demonstrates in front of the university that you are a very good candidate for them to take on and you cannot be left, right? So now the next comes is the law school transcript, which is also called the mark sheet here in India. So a law school transcript would be what your marks are at the end of the 5-year program, or if you are in the 3-year program, what your marks are at the end, because of course you would be sending that mark sheet before you get the LLB degree from your university. Most of the students they apply in the last year of law school. So the LLM transcript is what really shows that you are on the path of getting the degree before the degree can be actually issued, because it takes time after you clear the law school exams also that your degree is issued to you. So LLM transcript being one for students who are joining in. I'm sure a lot of you are students, since I'm addressing to students and professionals both, but for students specifically, transcript is one. So you have to apply to your law school to give you the final transcript sheet, which is a consolidated mark sheet of all the 5 years or 3 years, so that you can send it to the university. And most of the universities ask that transcript is to be sent to them through the university, not through the student, through the university. So you would have to apply to your university to send it to that particular university you are applying to for LLM. Now the next comes the Toefl score. Now Toefl is an examination that assesses that you are capable of communicating in English, writing in English, understanding in English, because usual mode of teaching in the universities, international universities, is English. So is in India. So the Toefl score is as important as to submit the Toefl score. You can obviously ask for a waiver from the universities, but you have to ask each individual university. You have to write to that university personally so as to get a Toefl waiver. The next comes scholarships. Scholarships is another very popular topic that a lot of students really come up to me and ask about it. Where to get the scholarship from, where can I apply for scholarships. Now scholarship procedure is just like an LLM application. I mean, I cannot emphasize this enough that start preparing for your LLM applications early, because if you keep it for the last minute, there are a lot of opportunities that you might just miss out on. So scholarship being one, a lot of scholarship opportunities, they start in the month of March, and it is only 2 months that they give for the person wanting to avail the scholarship from that particular organization, that they ended in the month of May. There are a lot of scholarships that are open at this particular moment, and they are going to end in probably 15th of May or at the end of May. This is for the reason that the students who have already been accepted for this coming year, or who are going to be applying for this coming year, they would want to avail the scholarships prior. So a scholarship is also based on your competence. Obviously, a lot of students would be applying, or a lot of professionals would be applying for that particular scholarship. So they also know, and a lot of, that there is a competitiveness amongst the students, and they would want to avail the scholarship at the earliest. The scholarship is always subjective to your acceptance in the coming year. So this is the time, if you want to avail scholarship, start applying for your scholarships now. Now, as I said that I would be talking about how to build an SOP, or how to write an SOP rather, which is the most important document in your application, which is going to introduce you to the admissions board, which is what is going to really make you stand out from any other LLM applicant, and which will really be that document that would force any of the admission board to take you as an LLM applicant. Now I would be giving like 7 tips. I cannot, because SOP is very personal. Again, the structure is very personal to every LLM applicant, based on your previous work experience, based on your future goals, how you've actually structured your career till now, and how you would want to structure it in the future. So SOP is very personal to every applicant, but certainly there are tips that I would want to give you if you are planning to write your SOP now. Now, first is, you need to show yourself. You need to be yourself. You need to sell yourself. You need to tell them in the most authentic way that I am a candidate who you do not want to miss out on. It is as simple as that. You have to talk about yourself. I know it is very difficult for anyone to put it down on paper, that your achievements, your goals, to talk about yourself. We can do it one-on-one, like face to face, but when it comes to writing and structuring your thoughts and putting it out on paper, that is one of the most difficult tasks that probably I faced when I was writing my LLM application for Columbia Law School. Now, as difficult as it is, if it is well structured, well thought, it shows in your LLM, it shows on the paper. The LLM admission board cannot say no to you. You have to be very authentic. You cannot faff on that paper, because there would be other documents that will support your SOP, like your resume, recommendations. Yes, that is another point that I forgot about to mention, that you have to take recommendations also from your professional network, your seniors, your boss. Recommendations, another part of the LLM application process, which I'm sorry I forgot to mention it earlier. But that is what is going to, all that put together is what going to be going on your SOP, which is your statement of purpose. So be yourself, be your authentic self. Focused and organized. The next tip I would give, be focused and be organized. You cannot talk about 10 different things. You have to be very focused, because you want to crack that university. You want to be an LLM of that university, and you have to be very focused, and your thoughts have to be organized when you put it down on paper. Be specific. Third, be specific of what you want to achieve from that university. What will you achieve? What your future goals are. Be very specific in that area. Be professional. You cannot be casual in your writing. Be professional. You have to write it like a professional document. You cannot address the admissions committee informally. So you have to be very professional when you are writing your SOP. Interesting. You make your SOP interesting. Weave a story out of your career path, the work experience you've had in the past, what your career would be in the future. Weave a story out of it. Make it interesting, yet professional. Obviously, you have to show you are very ambitious and passionate about it. You're very ambitious and very serious about your career goals, your career advancement. That is another very important element that your SOP should be having. Be modest. Do not be too overconfident, or do not show that you have it all covered. If you show that, then the university will get an idea, that applicant is a little too full of himself, so maybe himself or herself. So you don't want to give that impression. Be modest. Be modest about your achievements. Be modest about your goals. Be modest about the fact that you have achieved so much in the past, and yet you are so humble and down to earth that you would want to take it to the next level, maybe to come back and serve your country. That is one of the major a reason why a lot of professionals want to take the LLM, because they want to come back and give it back to their country, with the knowledge that they've gained. So after this, I think the next important part that I would want to cover is, again, your resume building. Now, resume, as I've been telling, not just for LLM application, but also for your professional growth, for your professional achievements, it is very important for you to document it. It is very important for your resume to not be more than 2 pages. 2 to 3 pages is maximum, but an ideal resume is not more than 2 pages. A lot of universities would ask you for just a page of your resume. So it is very important for you to know which achievements you want to put in that paper, which achievements would you want to show it to that admission committee or to anybody who's taking you on at the time of you applying for the job. Now, there would be a time where you would want to, of course, a lot of students want to take the LLM degree so that they can get a job in one of the international law firms. So a lot of law firms would also ask you for just 1 page of your resume. So it is very important that you are focused and organized, and you put everything on the paper, you document it. Addition and subtraction in your resume is something that should be an ongoing process. It should not be a one-time process just before your interviews or just before your application process. So it is an ongoing process, and I think it is very, very important that you should be looking at your resume at least once a month. and you should be building on your resume. You should be saying, okay, fine, there is a area here, like, in your resume which you can work on, which you can probably show another advancement in. So you should be grabbing those opportunities, being on a lookout for opportunities to to build on your profile and to write it down on your resume. Now we are almost towards the end of the session, and the LLM process is nothing. You don't need to be scared about. Once you are in the university, that that is going to be the easiest thing that you will look back on. But the most essential and the most important thing is, again, start early. Start at least 8 to 9 months early, and it is really going to benefit you. You would have a better clarity of how you want to go forward with it. You would have a structured application. It's like a puzzle. The puzzle has to fit together, and when that puzzle fits together for any applicant, the admission committee knows, because they have been taking on candidates for years together. So they know exactly what the candidate is talking about. They will not give you an opportunity. Most of the universities don't even give you an opportunity for an interview. So that document that you would be sending is going to be the most important document, and the only chance that probably you would have in that particular year to apply for LLM and to be selected as a LLM candidate. So now I'm going to be moving on to the questions that you have sent me. Okay, the first question is from Divyesh. Yeah. Are there any scholarships from the government or any universities pursuing LLM from abroad? So universities on their own, the international universities, they offer you scholarship or financial aid, but that is again very competitive. So if about 10,000 applications are coming to them every year, and only about 150 to 250 students are being chosen, of those also they would want to know who actually is that deserving candidate, who they would want to certainly take on board as an LLM an LLM candidate, or in their class of that year for LLM, and is in need of financial aid. So usually the financial aid is provided by universities, but it is not that every student or every LLM applicant will get an opportunity to avail that financial aid. So scholarships are offered by organizations, different organizations. If you are a professional who's already working in a law firm, a lot of law firms also these days encourage their associates to go for specialization in a particular subject or an area. So they also offer a sort of a financial grant to their associates to go and study in the universities or get a higher education in that particular area. So obviously law firms have that kind of you can avail it from your law firm. The international universities have a lot of organizations, private organizations. They offer scholarships. That is the most common way of availing a scholarship, is to go to these organizations who are who come out with their applications. Now, as I was telling you that the application process has already started. It is going to end in the month of May. Mostly it starts in the month of March, and in 2 months in the month of May it ends. So you might want to explore that area also when it comes to availing of scholarships. So the next question, I'm just going to post it here, which is, how is an LLM from abroad beneficial over one from India? Now, I think I started my session with this, that there is no specific answer to why an LLM is beneficial to you. I will not address it as one country over the other. It is all very personal to you. You want to advance your career in India, you want to have a specialized knowledge about Indian laws or a particular area of specialization in Indian law, in a particular Indian legal field, certainly do it in Indian universities. You want to have a broader professional network, broader clientele, global clientele, you would have to avail those opportunities through going to take that initial step. So for any sort of career advancement, you need to have the first stepping stone. So this is your stepping stone into the global legal market, if you want to avail it from the universities, which is like an international university. for a very basic reason that when you are going to get your LLM in that university and in that international university, you would be getting, you are eligible to give the bar of that jurisdiction. You can, if you're going in for US universities, you will be eligible to give the bar of the state. Obviously, New York bar is one of the most famous bar exams that most of the international students or international professionals take. Then the California bar. If you're going in for one of the UK, if you want to explore the UK jurisdiction, go in for a UK university, you would be eligible to become an English barrister. So it all depends on you. There is no one country over the other. It all is very personal, how you want to take your career forward, how you want to have that professional growth, in which direction you want to take your your career forward. That is very personal to every person. So the next question is, the applications need to be made before our final SEM exams. So how does that work out? Well, that works out with hard work. Very simple, a very simple formula to it is, a lot of students apply in their last year because they start preparing for it before. If you are focused, if you are working hard towards a particular goal or an achievement that you want in your life, you would work for it. You would work for it early. If you have your semester exams, again, LLM application, do not leave it for last minute. The semester exam, you would be studying for your semester exams. Obviously, with your classes, you would be all throughout your semester, but not like just a month before your semester exam is when you actually seriously start studying. So you cannot give just 1 month to your application process. 8 to 9 months, at least 8 to 9 months is what is to be given to an LLM application. So start preparing early for it. Okay, the next question is, can't a lawyer become a global lawyer with an LLM from India? Certainly you can. I'm not saying you cannot, but you cannot appear in another jurisdiction without knowing the laws of that jurisdiction. Every country has its own specific laws, right? Every country would have different laws that you would have to have that knowledge about. If you are if you are a well baked lawyer, I would say, if you are a well you would know that there is the international the other country would have a specific law that caters to their country. Indian laws cater to Indian India as a country. So obviously you can certainly go and practice. You can give your opinion based on, obviously, if there is a lot of clients would come to you and ask for your opinion that is relating to international arena, but you would want to give a well thought, a well structured, a well informed opinion, and that usually comes when you know the law of that country. So LLM is not just for degree, it is also for you to know the laws of that country. Okay, the next question. I'm getting a lot of these questions. How do we decide if an LLM from abroad is suitable or from India? Again, the answer is very simple. It is personal to you. It is something that you have to decide for yourself. How do you want to take your career forward? Nobody, you can do your LLM after practicing in India for a few years, and then you can take an LLM degree later on. So it all depends. People take dual the LLM degree. They have dual LLM degree from different countries. They do it from Singapore, US. There is a very popular program that gives you a dual LLM degree. People go in for LLM twice also. After getting their first LLM, they go in for it twice. So it all depends on you. If an LLM from abroad is suitable or from India, it is your personal choice. It is your personal reasons of doing LLM, the reason why you want to take and how you want to take your career to the next level. So it is very personal to every applicant who is applying. The next question is, how to qualify LLM for Clad? you have to study. Well, in most of the universities that take on international law students, they ask for an application, because every country has a very different assessment. The way a country assesses its applicants, students, professional is country specific. So an international university that takes on from different countries, they take on the applicants from different countries. They have a very standard procedure how they would want to evaluate the applicant who is coming in. Now, how to qualify for LM for Clad? You have to study. In India, it is more of a written exam. So there is the difference comes there, that where you are applying for an international university, you have to give an application process. You have to go through the application process, that the SOP, recommendations, resume, legal writing sample. Whereas in India, it is mostly you have to give that written exam, and then I believe there is an interview also. So it is. It depends. How you qualify it is, you have to clear the written exam. That is the way to go forward with Clad. Okay, the next question I have. Cost of LLM in US and UK. Now, the cost of LLM is obviously every university has its own different fee structure. It can be anything ranging in US from 50 USDs going up to 70 or 80 USDs. 50,000 USDs going up to 70,000 or 80,000 USDs. These days, a lot of universities are also giving you online program. So when we are talking about the cost, we also talk about the living expense. We talk about the fees of the university, the college that you're going to go in, the books that you would be taking on, and other living expenses also, which is your residence, your what you're eating, where are you getting it from, and everything. That depends. So it is flexible. A lot of universities these days are also offering online programs, so you do not need to go and stay in that particular country. You can do it, but yes, obviously networking opportunities then diminish. You still become a global lawyer, but obviously the networking is going to be restricted, because you're going to be in your own jurisdiction, and you'll be taking online classes. So LLM in US is around 50,000 USDs to 70 or 80,000 USDs, and in UK also the amount that you would be paying for as fees is going to be for the whole year, which is close to 9 months to a year that any university, international university, asks for. It is going to be somewhere close to about 40,000 pounds to about 70,000 pounds. That is what my general average estimate I would say would be for a university. Every university has its own different fee structure. So this is an average fee structure that I am talking about. For more, you will have to go on each university's website. Once you're accepted, they send you the fee structure. You would get to know better from there. The next is what is the scope in law? Well, I discussed this at the very beginning of the session. I would be saving this session for all of you to view it later. But the scope, of course, is personal to every person. You have the scope of career advancement. You can take it with the networking opportunities that will come your way. Professional networking, you become a global legal lawyer. You become a global lawyer, and you have that avenue in the global legal market. So all that combined, that is the scope in law. And of course, you get an additional degree, so your chances of working with top tier 1 law firm in that jurisdiction where you will be getting the LLM degree, as well as if you've got your LLB from India, that also increases. So it is that is what the scope in law is in a very summarized form. But yes, I have talked about it in detail in the beginning of the session, so you can view it later. Let me just see if there are any other questions. How is Cardiff University for LLM? Well, again, I would say that this is something that is very personal. We An LLM application from a particular university is never just about the university. It is always about the candidate who is applying for it, the reason why you're applying, the reason why you would want to take that LLM degree, and what is it going to do to your career. So it is very applicant specific. An LLM application cannot be university specific. The university does add on to your professional advancement, but then what it is going to bring to you and your life and your professional career and advancement is something very personal and to every applicant who is applying. So I cannot really give a general answer for something like how is Cardiff University. It is a great university, I would say, and just like a lot of other universities. But specifically why you are availing Cardiff University of all the universities, and the reason why you have actually narrowed down Cardiff University is something which you would have to probably tell it to me so that I can give you a better advice about it, because I cannot answer it as a general or I cannot give a very general answer to it. So obviously you need to have more of a directed consultation or a directed advice about it, I would say. So the next question is and I think I will be taking this as the last question. How to secure King's scholarship? Well, as I've already mentioned, every university has its own procedure of giving financial aid. You have to fill out a separate application for financial aid from that university. King's also has it. But yes, the financial aid or the scholarship that the King's College would be offering to you varies from year to year. The financial aid is depending on the fact that you are a very good candidate, but you cannot pay for the fees. All those factors will be considered. A scholarship is when you are a very, very good competitive candidate, and they have a specific guidelines for the applications for scholarship that you would have to go to the university's website and see. So there is no specific answer to any scholarship, be it not just King's, but for any scholarship. Every scholarship, any organization who is providing you scholarship would have its own criteria of giving scholarship and the scope or the objective of making that scholarship available to the students. So I think that would be all. This was the last question that I am taking. Certainly, in case you have any further questions, you can email it to me at integratingblocks@gmail.com. I would be happy to answer any of your questions. And all the best, guys, and whosoever's availing for LLM next year. This year is certainly a little uncertain with the LLM intakes and how the process and the procedure is going to be because of the COVID-19 and the outbreak of it globally. So the universities are still uncertain about how they would be regulating their classes. But for anyone who is applying for the next year, all the very best, and I'm sure we would have a more balanced academic year, or a more stabilized and normal academic year in the next year. Best of luck, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay home. Take care.